So the finale of Alien Earth came out 2 days ago. Episode 8, The Real Monsters. I actually watched it on the night, but I've just had so many other videos that I wanted to post that this is just coming out later than I expected. But I did watch it on the night, and I do have some thoughts about this episode and the show as a whole. It's definitely made me feel a little bit different towards the whole series now. Now it's ended, and I know what we got. So yeah, I guess this episode for me was just a mixed bag. So I actually enjoyed watching it. There were some really good moments. I did enjoy certain things. I thought the episode as a whole, I did enjoy it, but the end of it and like reflecting now back on that episode and what we got, and now as a series as a whole, it's definitely made me feel like a bit more negative towards the whole show and this episode. So because I watched it 2 days ago, my memory's not the best, but I'll try and do my best to remember all the good things and bad things. And this might be a bit of a ramble because it's not that fresh in my mind. So I'll just go through the things that I liked, things I didn't, and just give you my overall thoughts. So the things I did like, surprisingly, I don't think that many people like this, but I did. The hybrid kids suddenly turning bad, or anti-heroes, or whatever you want to call them. I do feel a little bit mixed on it, but I did enjoy watching it at the time. So it was unexpected to me. I didn't think that they were going to turn that way, and it did make them more interesting to me. I do think the hybrid kids have been pretty stale throughout the whole show. I haven't even cared about any of the characters, really. I mean, I did start to like a couple of them towards the end. I found that their stories were getting a little bit more interesting, but I feel like things never really progressed enough in this show for me to really feel anything. I don't know. It's just weird, but the kids were stale for me. So now that they've turned to like anti-heroes or the bad guys or whatever you call them, that did make me more interested in them. And I did actually enjoy watching them sort of turn. There was some cool moments like Wendy interfering with all the technology in the Prodigy facility on the network. Her flicking the door open when Boy Cavalier comes down to the jail cell. I did like that. I didn't really like Wendy putting a hand up and freezing the synthetic bodyguard or whoever. I don't even know his name, but you know what I mean. Boy Cavalier's sort of like bodyguard. I don't know if I like that. It was cool to maybe see it, but then the idea that Wendy can do this stuff, it just makes me think, oh no, are they going to get out of this island in season 2 and then she's just going to have all these superpowers where she can freeze people, she can grab planes out the sky and throw them down like Neo does in the Matrix Resurrections, which is terrible. But yeah, I don't know, I'm a little bit worried about where this is going to go. So, yeah, I did like the hybrid kids thing, for kinda. I did like the stuff with the eyeball, like the eyeball trying to take over Hermit. I really wanted it to take over Hermit. That would have been cool, but we didn't get that. But I did like all that scene. That was quite fun. And also the eyeball getting itself into Arthur's dead zombie corpse and reanimating him. That did interest me, but again, we never really got to see anything else from that. This is the thing, this episode has things that I liked, but then it's also combined with things I don't like. I wish that we got the eyeball speaking, just something like that. You know, the thing that it's been building up, this whole thing with the eyeball building up to go into outside of human so that Boy Cavalier could speak to something that's more intelligent than him. Yeah, okay, we're probably going to get that in season 2, and that will be fine. If this is the thing, if season 2 happens, okay, cool, I'll let it off. But you never know, it might not even get greenlit. I don't even know what the viewership's like right now with Alien. I know a lot of people have been criticizing it, so I don't know. And if we don't get a season 2, then season 1's going to be it's just going to be pointless and just shit. So yeah, we never got the eyeball talking, but I did like some of the scenes with the eyeball. One of my favorite scenes in the whole episode, probably my favorite thing maybe, was seeing the plant creature on the wall scurry away and then grab that woman and just start dissolving her, like while she's wrapped up in it, and she's like shooting a gun everywhere. I did like that. I thought that was that was probably the best scene, to be honest, because it actually was horror, and I feel like the show has lost that horror element to it. And I'll go into that in a moment, but yeah, I did like all of that as well. I also really enjoyed the fight between Kirsch and Morrow. That whole situation was cool. But then again, at the same time, it confuses me because this episode doesn't really explain what Kirsch's whole story is. Like, I'm still a little bit confused as to like what Kirsch's whole motivations were as to why he like allowed the boys to escape with the body and the face hugger so that Morrow could collect it. But then for Morrow to come in onto the island, and then they knock Morrow out, they keep him hostage, and then Morrow tries to kill Kirsch, but then Kirsch manages to get the better of him, gets him in a chokehold, and he could have killed him at that point, but he doesn't. He knocks him out, and then again he's, Morrow's back in the jail cell. And yeah, it just doesn't make sense yet. So it was frustrating not to get any answers on that. I want to know why Kirsch was doing all this stuff. Yeah, okay, we'll probably see it in season 2 and get to understand and get the answers then, but I just wanted some answers. I wanted some of the questions that I've been having in my mind and thinking of the show answered, and I don't think we really got anything really in this episode. I guess I liked the backstory of Boy Cavalier's life, like when he was a kid, that he was 6-year-old and he created his first synthetic, and then he basically got the synthetic to kill his dad, so the synthetic became his dad. It's a little bit cheesy, but I did quite like that, because it just made Boy Cavalier more interesting, because I've not really liked his character. I've not really cared about him. Like, he's a genius, but he doesn't come across as a genius. He just comes across as like an annoying kid. Well, he's not a kid, annoying young man. But yeah, I don't know. I did like that little backstory. It just made me feel like there was more to him than just being this character. He had a little bit of a backstory, so I guess I like that as well. But then there was just so many things that I thought were stupid. So, like, seeing the xenomorph, okay, it's great seeing the xenomorph, but I feel like the show has got itself into a place now where it's almost like I see the xenomorph, I'm not bothered now, but the show's Alien, and the horror element's sort of gone from the show. It doesn't feel like horror anymore, and the xenomorph, it just doesn't have that impact, and that is, to me, a big issue, because that is the main character, really, is the xenomorph in Alien. It's like, that's the thing that we all want to be afraid of, and have the suspense build up about, and have the tension around it, and now it just feels like it's some sort of pet character for the Avengers. Do you know what I mean? I don't know, it just feels like that element of what the xenomorph is, that tension and that horror around it is like completely gone. So that was a bit frustrating. Also, there was a really irrelevant scene. There was 2 irrelevant scenes, I thought. One where the xenomorph goes, it's like sneaking through the jungle, and then the scientist lady's at the grave of Marcy. I think it's called Marcy. Anyway, she's at the grave, and the xenomorph comes up behind her, and then the scientist lady turns around. She's looking at it once again. The xenomorph's just like, not really trying to kill anyone. It's just doing its thing, which... the xenomorph looked good, but then it also didn't look good. It looked weird. You could just see it's a guy in a suit in a lot of these day shots. I don't know if I like how it looks, but anyway, this all happens, and then all of a sudden the Marines come up, what are they called? Militia. They turn up, corn soldiers. The soldiers turn up and shoot the xenomorph in the head, and I had to rewind this twice, and I was like, wait a minute, what just happened? They shoot it in its head, and it dents its head, and the bullet just bounces off, I think. Like, it didn't go in it, and there was a definite dent in the xenomorph's skull, and the xenomorph runs away. So I don't know really what to make of that. Like, a xenomorph's bulletproof? You guys can tell me, because I love Alien, but I don't know every bit of lore in detail, but I've never seen that before. So that just was confusing to me. It just didn't really make sense. So it just felt like that scene was put there just to show that the xenomorph can't be killed by bullets. But it felt irrelevant. They could have done it in a different way. I don't know how else they could have done it. It just felt stupid. Also, the elevator scene where the same military soldiers go into the elevator, and all of a sudden the doors close, and then Wendy's messing around with the network, and she makes the elevator start self-destructing. That was stupid. I just don't get why they did that. Like, the elevator's going to self-destruct, but then it didn't, and it was just a way for them to climb out of the vents to then end up inside the lab. I feel like they just could have just got the elevator and gone to the lab, and without the self-destruct thing. It was just to show that Wendy could do stuff like that. She could control the building, and she could make things blow up, and yeah, I just felt like that was completely irrelevant as well. So yeah, I mean, there were some cool things. I did enjoy certain moments. I did actually enjoy the episode. I didn't think it was bad, but I thought it was just all right. I just thought it was all right, like above average. So Yeah, it's a bit frustrating because I really was hoping that the finale was going to reveal something. Maybe the Queen alien's been getting created somewhere and there's a hive, or I don't know, just something that really left us like, oh shit, I can't wait to see that. But there wasn't that. And one thing I did realize as soon as the episode started, I realized I didn't have that feeling of excitement for anything to happen. Usually in a show, when it's good or you're into a series, the show will build up, the series, whatever season it is, will build up, and there'll always be some sort of storyline going through it that will keep the viewers excited and wanting to see what's going to happen. Like, oh, I can't wait for the finale. Like, what's going to happen now at the end? I didn't have anything like that. I was just like, okay, yeah, another Alien episode, cool. And there was no thought of, can't wait for this, because there wasn't anything. I guess the whole show was all about these hybrid kids. That's it, the hybrid kids. Obviously, the species are a part of it, but it feels like they just took a backseat and it was mainly focused on these hybrid kids. I get the idea and the concept around it could have been good and cool if they executed it well, but I just don't think that any of the characters were really that interesting. I do like some of them. Wendy, yeah, okay, I'm interested in Wendy, but not that much, you know? So for the big reveal of this episode was that, oh, these kids have now turned bad and now they're going to kill everyone and go against everything, and they're like these anti-heroes. I was like, right, oh, was that it? When it ended, I was like, wait, is that it? Also, another thing to add to that, having the pet xenomorph just on the cage with the baby one, and then they've got like the Avengers assemble situation with all like the kids stood there. It didn't land for me, that. And I don't like that Wendy can communicate and control the xenomorphs. I don't think I like it. I don't mind it, but yeah, I'm not really into that. I'd wish that the xenomorph was just such a threat and a danger to everything that, no one could control it. Another thing is that Weyland-Yutani arriving at the island, that would have been a perfect way to end the season if episode 8, the one that we got, was moved to episode 7, and then episode 8 was like a massive battle between the Weyland-Yutani military and then the Prodigy's military, and then also you got the hybrid kids that are also fighting against everything, and you got the xenomorphs and all the creatures starting to take everyone out. That would have been a really cool way to end the season, but yeah, I guess we get that next season. So that's my thoughts. I thought it was just all right. So for me, I would give episode 8, the finale, a 6 out of 10. So just quickly, just to give you my thoughts overall of the show, I thought the show started out so strong. It was such a strong start. I was completely shocked by how good it was. I didn't expect it to be that good. I didn't really have any expectations for it, so that's probably why. But the first 2 episodes were really strong to me. I think I gave them a 9. And then from there, I think it's declined. And then they've had like ups and downs. Episode 5, I thought, was really strong. And then there was maybe 1 or 2 somewhere else in the season where I was like, okay, that was a decent interest. I think one of the good things that this show managed to do was it always had something interesting that piqued my interest always, and I really wanted to see what would happen in the next episode. So I was always interested. The show had some good stuff. It weren't a bad show. It was actually better than a lot of stuff that comes out. The set designs were amazing. The cinematography in a lot of places were great. The sound design, just everything. The creatures, the practical effects, the CGI, everything was just, I thought it was all solid. Some of the acting was great. Some of the characters like Morrow and Kirsch are really interesting. Had some cool things. I did enjoy a lot of it. But ultimately now, at the end of the whole season and knowing what we got, looking back does make me think that the show as a whole is not as good as I was thinking it was. So, but I did enjoy it. I did actually think it was good. So for me, I'd give the whole show as a whole a 7 out of 10. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know down below in the comments. Did you enjoy Alien Earth? Did you not? What do you think to the finale? Let me know down below. Drop me a like if you enjoyed this. Hit subscribe if you're new here. And that's it from me. I'll see you all again on the next one.